Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 340. My name is Mel Popeye Moss, and my co-host Mel O.G. Robbins. We are with you each and every week, and Sons of Liberty Riders MC and a few friends are sponsors of this show. Good evening, Mel. How are you doing?
Doing good, considering we got more rain coming.
Oh man! Well, real quick, let's wrap up some stuff from the last show, and also the weather. We'll get that out of the way quick, everybody, before we get into false narratives. Mel, I would like to make one correction that I noticed on the show we did last, and that was I had said that the Dallas DA was for the city of Dallas. No, that's for the county of Dallas. He does prosecute people from all over Dallas County. And what we want to say right off the bat, he's had to eat crow. He's had to recant his suggestion that we not arrest or prosecute people that commit crimes under $750. Now, everybody and his brother screamed about that. And Mel, let me say one thing about the police organizations that screamed. And maybe I can't blame them. You know, we looked at it from a couple of different perspectives. But let me say this, Mel, that Dallas County DA had representative members of the BLM. If you understand, the BLM are the, in my opinion, the perpetrators of all the police officers that's been killed, not only in Texas, but across the nation. The BLM is, I guess you could say, indirectly responsible for those murders. And we'll connect the dots to all this maybe later, maybe in another show. But understand, he did represent a member of the BLM. He had to recuse himself from that particular trial that's ongoing right now. And so that's where we're at with him, Mel. Any comments?
How can you not comment about something like that? How the hell did this guy get elected?
It's because of Dallas has turned into the Dallas city. The city of Dallas has, and for the most part, has turned into a liberal epicenter, and so that's you get what you get because of that, and plus the influx of people that have moved in here that are progressives, and this is results.
Hopefully he didn't get endorsed by the police union.
Or the NRA.
Yeah. Yeah, or the NRA. He's an A-lister on the NRA.
Yeah,
right?
but I doubt that. But we've seen goofier things, haven't we?
Oh, Lord.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, before I get myself in trouble, I guess I ought to shut up. But I'll tell you, I cannot believe that you've got a piece of slime like that as a district attorney.
Yeah.
We can only look forward to horrible things happening in the future.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, hey, we'll keep a close watch on this DA and the goings on in Dallas County. That's for sure. And, Mel, let's talk about it real quick. The last broadcast, we were talking about the possibility of the weathermen having egg on their face for sending the whole Northeast Texas area, or the whole North Texas area, into a panic over grapefruit size hail, tennis ball size hail. We
damn near had an evacuation like it was a hurricane.
Exactly, 70-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, the predictions were just outlandish, and it went on for days. and they ended up with egg on their face. And the next day they were kind of apologizing, saying the cap didn't happen, the cap didn't happen, the cap didn't happen. And so, I mean, let's hope that American Airlines and Southwest Airlines doesn't put so much stock in what these weathermen are saying, because the weather forecast is designed to get you to tune in. That's it. They can't predict weather 4 days out, and damn sure can't predict the size of the hail. They can predict the conditions can exist, but not that it's going to happen, not that this big event is going to happen like they say. So now, a week later, here comes another round of storms, another front. But they're not so much going out there on the limb as predicting the size of hail. They're predicting maybe the possibility of hail and strong winds, which is a more reasonable forecast. So, any comments, Mel?
Well, all you can think is maybe it was ratings week.
Exactly.
And that's what caused that. Now, the problem's going to be if we do truly have bad weather headed our way. They did such a horrible job this last time. We just may get caught now because they'll be afraid to say anything.
Exactly. But the best prediction you can do for the weather around you is, like we've told everybody, get yourself one of these My Radar weather apps, and you can see on the radar what's going on around you, no matter where you're at in the country. No matter where you're at, it works, and you can look and see the conditions around you real time. And so
the greatest app I've ever seen.
It surely is. It surely is. And we're not getting paid a dime to plug that.
Nope.
That's right. So anyway, Mel, shall we get on to false narratives and the Border Patrol?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Now, there was a news report. It's in the news. It's public that a drunk Border Patrol agent hit one vehicle and then sped away from the scene, and then ran over two motorcyclists on down the road. And those happened to be two Bandido motorcyclists. Now, Mel, for some reason, the Border Patrol, and I would think that the DPS may have, or the FBI may have had a hand in this. They send out a false report that there may be retaliation. Now, let us say this: we've seen this before, multiple times. We saw it during Twin Peaks, where the DPS sent out these false narratives that motorcyclists might be coming to attack police, attack citizens, attack a city. And, Mel, the only person that was telling the truth just hours after Twin Peaks was Bandito Jimmy Gimme, who was saying there's nobody that's been given orders to go attack a police. That would be ludicrous. There's no way anybody attacks any law enforcement organization, because the response would be just overwhelming. And as he stated, they'd be sending the Army, the Navy, the Marines, everybody else. And now this also goes for this situation. Right, we had a drunken fool, whether he has a badge or not, that ran into a vehicle and then went and ran over two motorcyclists. And so There's nobody coming to attack anybody. Those orders will not be given. And this, let's hope that this law enforcement officer, because we know that there's laws for them and laws for us. Let's hope he sees the full force of the law, whether he has a badge or not, like any other citizen would receive. Any comments?
Yeah, it's a sad thing to see. I mean, I used to think maybe the Border Patrol had a little more integrity than this, but
Yeah.
Obviously they're trying to cover for one of their own criminals, and take attention off the fact that he's a drunken fool and a hit and run artist, and the fact that he hit a couple of bikers, they jumped on it, and tried to put the spotlight on a motorcycle club as opposed to what that dumb ass did. And I don't. The Border Patrol should have thought that one out a little more carefully, because boy, they come up really smelly on this one. There's enough allegations out there about the Border Patrol taking money to get drugs across the border, and all kinds of stuff like that. So, if they want to act the fool and perpetrate crap like that, then I say let's go on the attack and let's show them up for what they really are.
Mel, we see these false narratives everywhere within our government, within law enforcement, and political groups. I mean, the list runs on and on of people that are pushing false narratives. Say like the president, who's having to deal with this Russia, everything else. The Democrats, even though they said there was no collusion, they keep pushing the false narrative. They push it again and again and again, hoping that people will believe it's true, and just trying to show him in a bad light. Now, that goes on every day in Washington, D.C., with the media and with the politicians pushing false narratives, one after the other. And so, we can't get jaded. We can't get jaded to the fact that this is happening and just start ignoring it. And so, this too is part of our pushback campaign. And Mel, I think the easiest way to handle false narratives is with the truth. With the truth. That's the
Truth
reason.
Never hurt.
Exactly. That's exactly what we did in Waco with the false narratives, and it will work in this case also. And so, Mel, with that message that they sent out to Border Patrol agents to arm up, to put on armor, get your long rifles, communicate.
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
They could get a biker killed.
Yes.
For that bullshit.
That's exactly right.
And they would be held faultless.
Yeah. What the Border Patrol has done is they've hyped up the situation. They've hyped it up. They've brought it up to another level within their own ranks. Not within the motorcycling community, within their own ranks. So now they've hyped up these officers that they may be attacked by a motorcyclist, by a Bandido, or any other 1%, 0% club, or what? Just a guy on two wheels. It's taken things to another level when they put out stuff like that within their ranks. And we've seen this again and again. We saw it in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth stockyards, where the DPS puts out a bulletin that there's 800, 700 Mongols coming to Fort Worth stockyards for a rally. Now, the Fort Worth Police Department grabs that and goes to the media with it. Well, then the hype increases. And then we saw the behavior of their law enforcement officers with Vagos MC at Wilson's Leather Goods, where a gun was pulled on a Vagos MC member who couldn't get his arm high enough for their liking, with a child standing nearby. It's overhyped. There was nothing going on. And there damn sure wasn't 700 Mongols in the stockyards. How do we know? Because we went and saw for ourselves whether the hype was real or not. And it turned out to be, it wasn't real. It was just hype. As the Fort Worth Police Department went around trying to get restaurants to ban them from their business. I mean, we see this over and over and over again. Realize that fighting the narrative is one of our jobs. This is what we do. And we're going to point it out every time they do this. Hell, they've sent people to prison off of these false narratives. Now, if it's the truth, it's the truth. But if it's false, they're going to get beat up about it. And we're going to be very public about it. Even to the point if we have to take ads in these cities' newspapers of the way law enforcement is behaving. And in many cases, it causes our constitutional rights to be violated because of the hype, because of the false narratives. And it's like I said in the last broadcast, the many police officers have been indoctrinated beyond the point of common sense. And just because the DPS says it doesn't make it true. They have been proven again and again and again to be liars. And when we catch them in these lies, when we catch them in these false narratives, we are going to expose it. Just like we're doing right now with the Border Patrol. There are no Bandidos, no motorcycle clubs coming after the Border Patrol. This is a single fool that got drunk. And I just imagine that he is probably a perpetual drunk. I mean, my God, in the days of Uber and Lyft, you can't get you a ride home, and I don't give a damn whether you got a badge or not. You can't get a ride home without putting somebody in danger, and especially two people that are on motorcycles. Now let's hope we see a proper investigation about this. And let's pray that these false narratives doesn't get someone killed, like Mel just said. It does nobody any good. It does nobody any good. Now this week, we'll be testing out the profiling that's been going on here in the North Texas area. We're going to see if it has been reduced. I mean, we did hear of a group that was pulled over in Ellis County the other day, 15 bikers or so. Our SA saw them, and we're not too sure what that was all about. We haven't had it reported. But we're looking, we're asking questions, and so far, nothing's cropped up. But we will be, as a group, Sons of Liberty Riders MC, will be headed to Ellis County on Friday. Oh yeah, we're going out there for lunch, and we will visit the courthouse, as we've done before, testing the waters, seeing what happens, probing, and we're being very public about it. We're seeking videos. And after that, we'll be gone. Back to 5-star cycles. Again, more false narratives sent out by the governor to get people into the database. It's at this point we feel that they may be backing off of their profiling. We'll see. And as you saw in our update, our motorcycle update, we wanted to bring up the fact that you can get stopped. You can get stopped for your motorcycle reflector on your license plate. Oh yeah, that little round reflector that's on your license plate, but just so happens in the upper right-hand corner, the one in the upper right-hand corner could just partially cover the expiration date of your motorcycle license tag. Oh yeah, it shows you what year it expires. It could partially cover that number, only so slightly. But a police officer traveling at 60, 70 miles an hour can surely see this, as we brought up Marty Feldman eyes. But they're using this now as a reason to do a traffic stop and profile you, to ask stupid questions and to get you into their database. Oh yeah. And I brought up the fact that I'd had this happen with my Texas Tech license tag frame. There's thousands of them out there. All over the state, all over Texas Tech. And it partially covers up the word Texas just a little bit. And I was stopped by a sheriff deputy out near Weatherford while taking my granddaughters out to Texas Tech for their first days of college this summer. One of them a junior, one of them a freshman. So as I'm taking them out there, we get pulled over because of that license plate frame and the fact that I had a Sons of Liberty Riders decal on the left side of my windshield, a 6-inch job. So I get pulled over and he asks questions of where I'm going, what I'm doing. I guess making sure I wasn't carrying any sex slaves. So at the end of it, though, he says, well, either fix it or not? Hello? These are the kind of stupid things we have going on. And like we're bringing up, we've got crimes at the wazoo here in the Metroplex area, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, and surrounding counties. And as Sergeant Swanton will tell you, in Waco, they're just loaded with gangs. They got all kinds. Hell, they got gangs we hadn't even heard of. Turn on your local news every night. Figure out what's going on around you. And like we said, you'll figure out that it's a horror show going on. And we got people that are murdering each other every other night, suicides at the wazoo. But yet, police departments have the time to keep bikers on the side of the road for hours at a time, putting them in grave danger because of all the people we've seen run over, literally run over by drunk drivers, drivers texting, drivers not paying attention. We've seen this again and again and again in the Metroplex area and all over Texas. But yet they feel it's okay to put us in danger, to ask a few stupid questions that they have to be getting redundant by now. All the years they've been doing this mess, they're bound to be getting the same names over and over and over again. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of our tax dollars. And now they want to build more fusion centers. They want to increase it up to 9. Duplication again and again and again, when one fusion center would suffice. Could handle all the data required. Hell, my computer could probably do it. We're going to keep exposing this mess. And it is a mess, make no doubt about it. And it's all based off of these false narratives that have been perpetrated toward bikers for 70 years. Now, I know there are clubs that love the outlaw image. I get it. I get it. But I will say this. Times change. People get tired of spending their money, their valuable time in court. And I would say one thing to the FBI, give it up. These patches are constitutionally protected. Quit wasting our tax dollars. Everybody understand, we look at the big picture right now. You say, what's the most obvious of crimes? Well, I would think after this weekend, it would be churches, Christian churches that are being attacked by terrorists. And let me say this, I did go to church this Easter Sunday. We went to downtown Dallas, down to the First Baptist Church there, and I can promise you right now, we could have all been blown to smithereens because of the lack of security. What did I see? I saw a sign that said no backpacks. I didn't see a sign that said no Muslims. No, what do you call those, Mel? The vest bombs?
No, what now?
The vest bombs, what do you call those? The things they wear around them.
Oh, shit, I can't think of
I
what
can't
you
either. That's the best word I know for it. Is the best vest bombs. But I mean, you look at that. You look at that. What happened in Sri Lanka, and say, well, could that happen here? I'm going to tell you, hell yes. I'm going to tell you, Rangers baseball games. I'm going to tell you, any public place that draws the event that draws over 1,000 people, like high school graduations that I went to not long ago, that zero male security, including letting people in with backpacks. And there must have been 6,000 people in there, Mel,
Wow.
as the multiple schools graduated and the crowd transferred in and out.
Things have probably started to become relaxed
Yes,
because we're the type of society that if nothing happens, we're like an instant gratification type society.
exactly.
And if nothing happens real quick, then they tend to say, "Oh, screw it, nothing's going to happen," and we go back to our old ways.
Exactly, Mel. That's the reason we're telling everybody about the pointing out the fact that they're wasting valuable resources. They're after the wrong guys. That it shouldn't be motorcycle clubs. They shouldn't be wasting their time on that. Because I promise you, the shit they always like to throw out there, involved in drugs and sex trafficking and all this other stuff going on. If that was true, Mel, it would be in the news every damn night about the Bandidos or any other club. Every night. Because we're easy to vilify.
That's right.
And so,
Easy target.
yeah. Yeah, so they keep throwing out that same thing over and over and over again so they can waste time and tax dollars. Now, I don't know how they go about tracking these people, but to me it looks like we're ready. We should be ready for another attack, whether it be your local church down here, whether it be a high school, or whether it be just something going on in the middle of the city, like the Boston Marathon. Now, that won't happen there again, more than likely, but there are other places around the nation that haven't suffered at the hands of terrorists, and they feel secure. But they're not. And Mel, they're taking away the ability for us to defend ourselves when they pull over a biker and he's got a license to carry, and they confiscate his weapon so others see that. And what do? They don't carry. So our ability to protect ourselves goes out the damn window. But and it's needed. It's needed. Texas should be an open carry state. And if you saw that video of the guy that was running around, the Speaker of the House, the Texas Speaker of the House, was complaining about. If you saw that video, I mean, he was causing no harm. He was working for his cause, constitutional carry. And so what if he went to a house? Evidently, Mel, the Speaker of the House doesn't live in a gated neighborhood like you do. Are people allowed to go out there and pass out literature in that neighborhood you live in?
No.
Yeah. See what I mean?
That's right.
I suggest the Speaker of the House in Texas, Bonner, I guess Bonin is his name, move into a gated neighborhood. Then he can fight with the homeowners association.
There you go.
Yeah. So I imagine he'd be bitching about that on the House floor too. But the things we're pointing out, Mel, is all, the way to combat it is with the truth and by seeking redress. That's the way to combat it. Right now, you look at the state legislature, and we're not going to win anything there for quite a while until we reorganize, get better organized. But one of the ways to fight this thing is to subscribe to our news channel and to share. Share, share. Because the things we're talking about is your constitutional protections. And we want everybody's constitutional rights to be protected, including law enforcement. Like we say many times, we're not anti-law enforcement by a long shot. But we are corrupt law enforcement. We are corrupt politicians. We are against corrupt court systems. And when we look out there, that's what we see. Corruption is every freaking where. And people will lie at the drop of a hat. You want to comment on any of that, Mel?
No, you're right. It, kind of like what's going on in New Mexico right now, which kind of brings us right back around to the Border Patrol, but there may be more involved here. You've got that lunatic new female governor up there that's looking to abolish Second Amendment rights. She has pulled the National Guard off the border, won't cooperate with keeping our borders closed, has been raising all kinds of hell about the civilian militia that's been down there, that's been guarding the border since the U.S. government won't do it.
Did you go away?
Yeah, I would tend to believe them before I believe the media or anyone else that they've never really used their weapons against these illegals where they've held them at gunpoint. They have stopped them when they've come in. They have called the Border Patrol to come get them, which the Border Patrol has come and gotten them. And not until the ACLU got involved and issued this lengthy propaganda-type statement about how wrong and heinous it was for us to protect our borders, with the governor chiming in, all of a sudden, the feds jump in, the FBI shows up, and here we have a let's play it again, Sam scenario. You'll remember not too awful long ago, a year or two ago, militia down on the southern border in Texas, and with the permission of private landowners down there. And all of a sudden, the feds show up and they arrest one of the militia guys for possession of a firearm as a felon. And he ended up doing a 3-year stint. Now, he certainly didn't break Texas law because he was on private property with an owner's permission. So you got to question the sovereignty of the state of Texas, and is Texas not willing, are our politicians in Texas not willing to stand up for the sovereignty of this state? But nonetheless, they got in there, they arrested the guy, yada, yada, yada. He's done a 3-year stint. I think he's still on paper for that. Now, all of a sudden, the FBI shows up in New Mexico, same scenario, arrest a previous felon who served his time, but he was in possession of not only a firearm, but God forbid, ammunition. And the state isn't sticking up for this guy. In fact, I think they're the ones that are perpetrating it. But you got the federal government not doing their job, and on top of which, now the Border Patrol is warning private citizens that, hey, you can't take the law in your own hands and protect the border. That's our job. Well, bullshit. The federal government isn't even doing their frickin' job.
That's a, yeah.
You know,
I mean, Mel, what is it we're to do when the government will not do its job, whether it's state or federal, when they will absolutely not do their job?
that's the whole issue, my friend, and therein lies the problem, because now you have an ineffective government. I mean, it's just everything's going south,
I know.
and now you got the government saying that you can't even protect your own borders. Well, that's crap, and I think what needs to happen is maybe a little civil disobedience is called for here.
Maybe it is. And Mel, let's say this, and this isn't rocket science, but with all the misuse of the manpower and the money that's going on for nefarious reasons, with all the misuse, once again, something is going to slip through the cracks and something bad is going to happen. I mean, that's not too hard to predict, is it?
Nope. And we can sleep easy at night because we know the government's doing their job.
That's right. Or not. Like they said over my license plate frame. Fix it or not. And that's the story of it all. Is they are wasting resources for the wrong reasons. They are setting the narratives for the wrong reasons. Whether you're talking about Washington, D.C., whether you're talking about the State House, whether you're talking about your law enforcement, whether it be the DPS, whether it be your sheriff's department, whether it be your police department. I mean, hell, it's like everything has been dumbed down to the point that we don't recognize. Well, there are many of us that recognize it that's been involved, right?
That's right. We know exactly what it is.
Exactly. Who studied it for years. We know what's going on. It's our job to pass it on to you. And if you feel moved by anything we've said, subscribe or pass it on. We need to get to 1,000 members on this YouTube channel so we can do more.
With all this crap going on, people are going to get hurt and or killed.
That's right.
Through this ineffectiveness of our government.
Exactly.
And the pansy games that are being played.
There we go. Here we go. And Mel, we've almost got to our allotted time. The next COCI meeting, one of our sponsors.
Yep, it certainly is. The Texas Coalition of Clubs and Independents helps sponsor Texas Biker Radio, and I got to tell you, it's a great organization. You don't have to pay any monthly dues. We've got meetings on a bi-monthly basis. It looks like for this year, until we do the Get Her Done rally, the meetings are going to be held at Southern Junction in Royce City. It's the third Sunday of every other month. The next meeting is in May. It will be on that third Sunday. Like I said, the meeting starts at 2 o'clock. Everyone gets there about noon. They have their special and a few drinks, and everyone chats it up. All the clubs and independents. Don't forget, part of that name is Coalition of Clubs and Independents. And all that's discussed there are your rights, what you need to be aware of, how to conduct yourself if you're stopped. And we've got an attorney there that gives a lot of talks, Bill Smith. He's damn good at it. And we've got U.S. Defenders. Popeye, you're there as the commander for Region 2, and we're talking about legislation that's pending and what we need to do. So please come. Everyone's welcome.
That's right, Mel. And the Texas State Legislature is in session right now, and we will have an update on what's going on there, what our team is doing there, and so join us if you can. Make it a point, whether you're a club member or an independent. It's not what you've been told by law enforcement or anyone else. We're there. We're there because of the political work they've done in the legislature over the last decade or so. That's the reason we are members. That's the reason we work with the U.S. Defenders and the Texas Legislative Strike Force. Mel, with that, that's a wrap, man.
It's a wrap. Been great talking to you, and everyone stay safe.
Okay, and I'm fixing to push the button and hope all is well. Ride safe, everybody. Ride safe.